over here. So thank you, Elena, for joining me again.
Hi.
And so the reason she's back is because I love her. We had an amazing podcast, and you gave me one of the biggest compliments last night. Like when we were performing at Connor, if you're watching this.
Yes,
like,
hi Connor.
Us up.
Yay, Owasso.
And you're the only one to actually tell me that like my podcast was like really fun and you enjoyed it a lot. You'd be surprised, most guests are just like, all right, cool, thanks. Post it on your Instagram, like advertise for me. And I was like, thanks, buddy.
Don't sell yourself so short. It's fun.
I think it's fun. Like, I have a lot of fun with it.
And if you're watching this, you think it's fun too, right? Right?
I hope so.
Right?
Because ours, like the one that we did before, it was really popular. Like people who didn't know you actually messaged me as like, hey, whoever she is, like, she is really fun, like on camera.
That's so sweet.
So yeah.
I'm like the Oprah of
basically
life. Hopefully I don't have to give everybody a car now.
I don't think so, no. You could give me one because I need a new one. This glare on my glasses like really bothered me. Okay, but
alright.
I'm gonna move this closer. I don't know if they can hear us. There we go. Now they're right in her face.
Whoa. Oh, you can see that I'm a mom of a toddler. I'm like super, what's up, luggage?
Can you look at another woman and see that? It's like, when you look at her face, it's like, you've got a teenager.
Yeah.
You can do that?
I can.
How? What do you look for?
The stress lines. Like,
oh, really?
There's different, so the fact that I am ancient, but I just have a toddler is why
ancient
I still like, but to be real, like this is not to be too complimentary to me, I don't think I look almost 40. But I think it's because I only have a 2-year-old. That I haven't been dealing with kids. Like if I would have had kids at 25 and I had a 15-year-old now, oh man.
Oh.
All of this would just be wrinkles and
my mom had
hair.
me at like, my mom had me at my age right now.
Okay. Could you imagine having a baby right
now? Hell no. Not in a million. I don't know how the hell she did any of it.
Sorry for
you're good. Like I don't know what. Anyways.
We're getting off topic. Hi again.
Okay, so we're writing jokes.
Yes, so I'm a comedian, he's a comedian. We like to tell jokes and hope that people laugh at us.
A lot of hope is involved.
A lot of hope. Yeah, I was talking to someone last night and I was like, all right, I'm heading to Owasso. Here's hoping for at least one chuckle. Like that's what I'm shooting for. But to come up with your set and to come up with your jokes, it's a process. Like, I remember when I started watching comedy, I just thought it was people that were naturally funny and just got on a microphone and just talked about being, you know, and
they just got up there and started doing everything like on the spot. Yeah, that's what I thought for the longest time.
And there are some people that do that, like Sinbad, which I hope they...
Why have I heard it? Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay,
Not just the movie, but the actual dude too.
Slightly different.
Yep. Yeah, you're telling me.
But, you know, he writes nothing. But he is kind of crazy, but in a good kind of crazy way. But he just rambles and goes. And there are people that are really good at that, but it's few and far between.
Yeah.
The majority of people have an idea and then tweak it and build it and grow it and, you know, form it into their own little nugget of funny. And everybody's process is different.
Different in a little way. Different. Like before this podcast, I was just like, I'm boring when it comes to writing. Like some people, this is not an exaggeration. Some people will actually like make it a ritual, and like they'll smoke weed before, and then they'll set up like their whole room and like they'll rearrange the furniture. I've seen human beings rearrange furniture, smoke weed, get certain food, like they'll get like stress food or whatever they need to do, and then they'll just start writing, or they'll have like a group of people. I don't do any of that. I literally just have like a journal, which I actually have with me in my backpack, by the way. I just have blank journal and a pen and just write. Okay, but that's it. Just me by myself, like in a room, and that's all. That's how I write. So how often do you write? Every day. That's 99.9% of it. So Jerry Seinfeld, that was his thing. Is at least 20 minutes every day, just writing, and he saved everything. He's like, you know, most of the stuff that comes out in your first iteration is
useless, but
it's complete horseshit.
But
there's no value in it.
You save everything and then you go back to it later and see what you get. But just the fact that you're conditioning your brain to know that you're going to write every single day is great.
Consistency is fantastic.
Yes, and that is something that I struggle with, and I am trying really hard, and that's why I mentioned this to you, because I'm trying so hard to get that. So I'm listening to all these other people and talk about their tips, and I'm very hungry for other people's ways, because I am like a top of mind, like, oh, this just popped into my head, so I'm gonna write myself a note, and then I will sit down and try to flush it out. But it's very much like just lightning in a bottle. Like, I have no structure, I have no set times, I'm not doing it enough.
Do you write it in your phone?
I do. I write it in my phone, and then I will like sit down on my laptop and type it out.
Do you type it or do you write it?
I type it. I have written maybe a handful of times.
Okay.
And it definitely feels different, and I feel like it connects me in a different way.
I sometimes get worried because like I'll have an idea where, I do the same thing, by the way. So this is a great writing tool. I just put everything like in my notes app.
Yep.
And then like when I go home, when I like usually, so this is like my whole writing process is that my goal every day is to write for 30 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
I am not at the level. I know some people who can do it for like 1 hour straight. I can't. It's not that like the level of concentration I have really falls short.
Okay.
Because I don't even know how I'm here right now is incredible. Every time I have a show, I use up a lot of energy like on stage, and it takes a lot of like mental power for me to just like do my thing.
Okay.
And I can't do like multiple shows a week.
Really?
I don't have the brain capacity to do it.
That's interesting.
Like I get so exhausted.
Okay.
And afterwards, and it's not like, it's like while I'm on stage, I'm like a higher energy comedian as it is. Like I'm not like jumping up and down or moving.
Right.
But like I'll change my intonation, I'll change my tone, I'll raise my voice, lower it. Like I do a bunch of things, but I think about all of it. None of it comes naturally to me.
Okay.
And afterwards, like the car ride home was half asleep.
Wow.
I just went back on autopilot. So the only reason that like
glad you made it safely.
I know. The only reason that this podcast is possible is because like I already know you and I already know you, and I know it's gonna be like fun.
Yeah.
But I can't, cause like even while I'm at shows, I'll have my phone out and I'll start like just like taking notes about what I just did on stage. And if I wait to get home, I'll forget everything.
Do you record your sets?
Yes.
Okay.
And
do you ever listen back though?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
And like so part of my writing is like when I will listen, like in that 30-minute time frame, part of that is listening to what I did last night, or what I did like in the most recent show. So if I did like a 10-minute thing, then my writing will be 40 minutes.
Okay.
And if I did like a 5-minute thing, it'll be like 30 minutes. But I always re-watch or re-listen to like whatever I did the night before, and then I will take notes on like how to improve that. Okay. And then in the last 10 minutes, I'll just free write. Okay. That's how I do it.
That makes sense. Yeah, I record all of my stuff, but I am
audio or video?
Audio.
Okay, I mix it up.
I need to do more video.
I got you.
Just to see.
I'll just have this camera ready for both of us. I got
Perfect. You. Because I do a lot of this. I know
you
that
do.
I know that I do, but I am the exact opposite from you in that I can talk just fine. I can talk on stage just fine, and I can make up shit as I go. It's not always going to be funny, but I have no qualms about getting up there in front of people and talking about it. So that part I go on autopilot, and it's almost like I do need to take a step back, and I do need to watch myself. I need to watch my mannerisms.
Well, we have the opposite problem.
Right. Yeah. So energy-wise, it's fine for me. That part is the easy part. The hard part for me is the writing and the structure of how can I get this joke shorter? How can I get this punchline harder? How can I do this? And a lot of times I write on stage. So like
I know what you mean.
will go to an open mic with like, here's my, stuff. I'm not gonna actually show.
Yeah, don't focus it. Just say something.
But I have rough premises, like hundreds of them.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll go up at an open mic and be like, what's the deal with airplane food? And then like try to play around with it, and then the next time I do it, I'll do it slightly differently, and then I'll listen to what I said, and I'm like, I like this line, I don't like that line, what if I change this? And then the next time I do it, I do that. And it's good enough for where I'm at right now, which is just an open micer.
Don't sell yourself short. No.
But
you're open micer doesn't mean jack. Like, don't think that just because you do only open mics, that doesn't make you any less of a comedian. Let me tell you something. Just because you've been doing something a long time doesn't make you good at it.
Boom.
Okay, so don't ever think just because someone has like 10 years experience that they know what they're doing. Like, I've been working as an engineer for not too long. There are some dumbass engineers out there, okay? They don't have a clue what they're doing. They're just working here because they've been here a long time.
Oh.
Only because like just getting on stage doesn't make you good. Okay, that's why I resent the advice of certain comedians, like when they just say, no, get on stage. I'm like, no, that doesn't make you good.
It doesn't
Get
make you
right. Like,
doesn't make you good, but I will say, if that's your barrier, like you specifically, Pary,
okay, yeah. Then get your ass up there.
Then get your ass up there.
But I don't like for people like us, like we can get on stage. Like, our problem is not finding a show and performing. Right. But so like for us, it's not like, I think the most productivity happens off stage.
Yes.
I don't think it happens while you're performing, because when you're on stage and doing your thing, you're not like, it's like when you have like premises, right? You don't come up with those premises on stage.
Right.
You have them beforehand, and then you work on them while you're there.
Sometimes.
You come up with them on the spot?
I have before.
Really? Okay,
So,
well, never mind. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
But to be fair, it was a show that was designed to do that.
Oh, okay.
So it was, so that's why I said sometimes.
Like a writer show?
Well, it was an interruption show, and so the idea was you got up and you did your set, and then there were other comics that had microphones, and they would interject and ask you questions and try to kind of throw you off your game a little bit.
That's very different.
And
I like that though.
But it was great. Like the Casey Anthony thing that I have came from that show. Like, it's a real story that this old lady was at.
Wait, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
I'm not gonna give the whole thing away, but
it's a good bit.
Like, this old lady literally yelled out when I responded to the question, and literally yelled out, and I was like, really? Have you never heard of? Like, so that actually happened on stage, but then working on it and like trying to figure out like, okay, how am I gonna retell this, happened off stage. But so I think premises, I don't think there's a hard and fast. I will say this about everything with writing and everything with comedy. I don't think there's a right answer.
There's no structured path to success in this sort of field. It's never gonna happen.
Right, but
there are parallels that everyone does. Like, writing is one of those. Like, every successful comedian that you've ever thought of in your life, they all write.
Except for Sinbad.
Except for Sinbad. And even Robin Williams does a little bit of that, but he...
Right.
Those people are so rare, though.
They really, 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 like, really are.
You, like, don't look at an outlier and say, well, I can do what they're doing. That's a very tough way to go about it.
Yes.
But when you're writing, do you, like, when you're telling jokes on stage, do you, like, say them verbatim as you wrote them? Or do you always have, so like, if you're on a showcase and you're getting paid to do it,
yes,
do you try new jokes then, or do you just...
I usually don't.
Okay, that's a good thing. Neither do I. I don't think you should.
I will. I might try a new word joke, but I've never done a brand new baby joke on a show that's like that. It might be something that I've only done a handful of times, and that I don't feel is fully formed, but I want to see how it does in front of a larger audience, or in front of a different audience. So I might, but in that instance, I will like put it around 2 other jokes that I already know.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's a good way to test new material.
A safety net.
It's so. I tell when I'm writing and I go on stage, I tell my jokes like word for word as I write them.
Okay.
I am not capable of writing a premise like you do and then describing that premise and then like, you know, coming up with stuff. So, because some people, I'm doing a podcast later today with this dude named Pary.
Okay.
He is someone who, his best stuff comes out while he's being himself on stage.
Is he the handstand guy?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yes, he is. Then like, well, let's say it this way. I don't like writing with other people.
Okay.
I actually completely prefer to do it by myself. And if I am writing with somebody else, it'll probably be like one other person.
Yeah.
I don't like doing group writing, but he's someone who thrives
Okay.
on it. Like he's very good at, like when he's on stage and just being himself, that's where his stuff comes from.
Okay.
He doesn't write his best stuff like I do. Like I'm someone who has to sit down in a room alone, handwrite everything. He's someone who will come up with some great stuff on stage while he's talking.
Okay.
And that makes it a little harder for him to like come up with newer material. I think that's something that you can like train yourself to do though. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you're screwed in that sense at all. Like you can, anything that you can learn, you can unlearn. So if he doesn't know, like if you don't know how to sit down and just write and not like be distracted, you can learn how to do that.
And that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah. These are all skills. No one is born with the ability to tell a
Right.
joke. No one is born with the capacity to organize anything.
The way that you were just describing it though, I did that one time. I had a show at Mark Ridley's and I was very anxious about the show. I've performed there a couple times, but for some reason this show I was extra like concerned with. And I had gone to Grand Rapids with a friend of mine and we were driving back from Grand Rapids. And the entire drive back, which is about 3 hours.
Which is a drive, yeah.
The entire drive back, I sat in the passenger seat with headphones in and transcribed my set 10 times.
Oh, really?
Like, I just kept writing it and going word for word for word for word.
Like, where did you, on your phone?
On my phone.
Okay.
I just kept typing it over and over and over to get every single word exactly how I wanted to say it. I got up on stage and it, excuse my language kids, it fucked me up. Like it legitimately fucked me up. Because usually when I write out my set list, I write out beats. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do geriatric, I'm gonna do shitty mom, I'm gonna do target. Like, and I know what those are.
Yeah.
But this time I was like, no, I'm gonna go word for word for word, and I tripped myself up. I missed one word, and then my brain couldn't get back on track.
That's one of the biggest weaknesses with the way that I write, is that if I miss one sentence of my set, it's harder for me to like recover that, because as I'm speaking further, in my mind I'll be like, oh, well, you missed that.
Right.
Because everything that I say on stage is like clean memorized, and even like on my phone, like when because sometimes if I'm like an open mic, I'm just trying new material, I don't have it all like perfectly memorized.
Right.
On my phone, I will have a word for a word what I'm going to say, and I don't need I don't read it off my screen, but if I just see like the premise of the joke, like the first sentence of it, I'm like, okay, I have the rest memorized.
Okay.
But if I miss like a few words in the middle, it does throw me off. And that's what I was talking about. That's probably why it takes me so much mental like power to keep going.
Yes.
Because I have to like block out the part that I left out. Like when you're on like your fourth joke, you can't think about your third one.
Right.
Like it's done.
Right.
Move on. I am still learning how to move on. And that's probably why it takes me so much like just mind to
And
go
the
fast.
other thing that I think will, going back to you getting up more, and you specifically, I think in that instance, that will help you, but also you're going to, depending on the audience, depending on the crowd, you may run into issues where you need to kind of bob and weave a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, somebody shouts something out, or another comic has a really funny thing that you can kind of tag, or, you know, kind of feel out your crowd and be able to be more flexible. And it's harder to do that when you're like, this is my exact 10 minutes.
When I agree with you. So when I have if I've done it enough times and I know to the point where, because like I have 10 minutes where I know, like I'm confident enough in my material to be like, this is funny. I know everything in here works. Yeah. When I get to that point, I can improvise very easily.
Oh, okay.
Like it's because even if I miss something midway, like I've done this repetition so many times to the point where it's like I know what's coming up next. I don't need to think about it anymore.
Gotcha.
It's the issue with me is when I'm trying new stuff, I have a very difficult time trying new material.
Okay.
But if I have 10 minutes that I've like done enough times, yeah, like that can be improvised and I can like move stuff around and that's very easy at that point.
Okay.
But this takes a few months to get to.
Yes.
Like this doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
That's
We're
our
done.
time. That's our time.
We did it. We done it.
I like what we were talking about too. But so Alana Gonzalez.
Hey, that's me.
Yep. Do you have anything that you want to like shout out?
Yes, I'm so super excited. In Toledo, Ohio.
Not Toledo, Canada.
Right.
Toledo, Ohio.
I feel like there is another Toledo.
I think there is two actually.
Yeah,
just
like
that.
there's
Toledo,
a couple,
Ohio.
Yes, Toledo, Ohio. They do this great thing every summer at a place called Fleetwoods. They do this rooftop comedy series, and they'll bring in headliners, and they do a great showcase. And I'm doing it this year, and I'm really excited. I've never done comedy in a roof before. But it's happening August 15th at Fleetwoods in Toledo, and the headliner is the hilarious Gwen Sunkel. So look up Gwen on YouTube, laugh your ass off, and then come out and see me try to tell jokes too. It'll be fun. So yeah, August 15th. It's Thursday night, Fleetwoods, Toledo. And then you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Gonzaleza, Gonzaleeza. I'm sure there's a link
This
somewhere.
will all be below. Yeah, if you want to stalk her, it's all in the description.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you guys for watching. Stay fresh. It's like